Welcome to What's the Score, a series solely dedicated to the support of Central Florida's small business and entrepreneurs. Donated as a community service by AM 660 The Answer and Salem Communications. Now, here's Christopher Hart and Rich Jaeckle.
Hello, folks, and welcome to What's the Score? That's right, you have tuned into the show that is designed to help you come up with that winning combination for your business. I am Christopher Hart of the American Adversaries Radio Show, and I'm joined today by Rich Jaeckle of Score. But no, he's not here. Paul McNally is here, but Rich is not with us today, is he, Paul?
No, Rich, I think, is up in Virginia, probably golfing right about now.
All right, well, he will be back with us next week, and we'll miss him today. But Paul and I will hold down the fort, and we do have a guest with us today. Another inventor, as it were, folks, and I think you're going to get a real kick out of hearing her story. And her name is Jean Newell, and she has come up with quite a little invention. It's called the pup, and we'll let her tell you about that a little bit more in just a minute. As I said, this is the show that is designed to help you come up with a winning combination for your business, and that's because it's backed up by Score. And Score, once again, is a free organization of mentors who can help people out who are just getting started in business, and others as well, right, Paul?
That's right. We've got about 50, 55 volunteers coming from all different types of businesses, different backgrounds, some in sales, some marketing, some operations, that are volunteering their time free of charge, and will mentor you and your business to try to help keep you from failing and make you more successful.
Now, the mentoring is free. But they also offer seminars, which are very helpful to the person, especially who is just starting out. And I believe we have a free seminar coming up. By the way, folks, the seminars are very cheap. They're only $30 each for the more specialized ones. But once again, there's a free one coming up.
The free one is on September 30th, which is a Tuesday evening, and it starts at 6 p.m., and it's you, your business idea, and how Score can help. And it's pretty much tells you a little bit about everything you'll need to know and need to do. And it's an introduction to 6 other seminars that we do that will help you with your business. We've got marketing your business, building your business plan, how to effectively manage employees. There's a lot of different programs that we offer to help make you successful.
And, of course, the Score mentors can focus you to which seminars would be, more productive for you. And you can find out more about Score on a computer by simply going to scoreorlando.org. Just spell it all out, Score, S-C-O-R-E, scoreorlando.org. And you can give them a call at the Entrepreneur Center, which is located in the Fashion Square Mall right over there on East Colonial Drive at McGuire. It's located in the mall between JCPenney and Sears. And their phone number there is 407-420-4844, 407-420-4844, and they're open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Plus, they have some seminars on Saturdays as well.
That's correct. And, Chris, somebody made a phone call today to our office and asked about nonprofit seminars. So I thought I'd bring that up on the air. We do a nonprofit workshop that's done with Rollins College, and it is also at the National Entrepreneur Center. And the next one is September 30th, and it's starting a nonprofit workshop. So those people that want to go forward to do a 501c3, this will give you a little introduction on how to get that started. And that's a $30 charge also.
All right. That's very reasonable. I hadn't thought of that, but certainly some business people choose to go the nonprofit route, if you will. So,
well, and plan to be nonprofit.
Depending on what they're trying to do. But that's very interesting. Thanks for those questions. And that's also, folks, if you would like to send us questions, suggestions for shows, if you'd like to be on the show, send us a note. And you can do that by simply going to score@nationalec.org. That's score@nationalec.org. Or, of course, you can call them over there at 407-420-4844. Now, our guest today, Jean Newell, worked with Score, or you went to them to get some mentorship. And then tell us what happened, if you would, please.
That's right, Chris. About 10 years ago, I had this idea for a product, and not knowing where else to go, I remembered about Score. I went to the Small Business Development Center, and that was great. We had all this great advice, and they were able to tell me about other places to go and different banks. And it's a wonderful organization to start with, especially when you first have an idea and you don't know exactly which way to go.
And so somebody can just basically come in from square one, is what Jean sounded like she did.
Exactly. And some people will just walk in. You know, we do have walk-in service at the Orlando office, and they'll walk in and start getting some direction. The best place to start is with the initial seminar and start through the whole process, because that gives you everything you'll need to know to get started. And usually after you've taken 2 or 3 of the workshops, that's probably the best time to start getting the one-on-one help as you start running into, some problems with your business plan or some questions. Then that's usually when the mentors start coming into play.
Jean, how did you find out about SCORE to begin with?
I don't remember. I think I just knew about it just from being in business. I was in real estate for many years, and I think just knowing it existed. But back even 10 years ago, I'm in Brevard County. It just wasn't something that they were doing a lot of seminars and things like that back then, because people weren't starting as many businesses as they are now. But I just knew about SCORE, and they had an office there, and I made an appointment, and we went in, and I had a business partner at the time. And it was a great place to start, because most entrepreneurs or most people with an invention, they just really don't know what to do first. They always think they have to go to a lawyer first and maybe get something patented. But I think the first step is go to SCORE, Small Business Development Center, and find out and get yourself on the right path.
And that's a good place to start, because, number one, it's free. And that's usually when you're starting out, you're on a low budget. And the second thing, you're talking with people that have been there before, that have been in their shoes, that have started businesses, and they know where they're coming from. And what makes us happy when we're counseling somebody is helping make them successful and making sure they are not unsuccessful.
And that's a very important point that Jean brought out and you elaborated on. And that is that you need to focus your attention, but you also need to focus your resources. And if you go to the lawyers first, or the places where you're going to spend money first, guess what's going to happen? You're going to spend some money, and it may not have been necessary in the long run. This is where SCORE comes in, because they, as Paul said, the experience. They know the lay of the land, if you will, and can tell you, you don't want to climb that mountain. That's not the one. This is the one. There's the path. There's the passageway through, so that you don't waste your time and, in particular, your money.
Exactly, and you may run out of money too early if you're doing it that way.
Absolutely, but that's the way a lot of people do it. As Jean said, a lot of people just don't know where to begin. You have an idea either for a business or a product or whatever, and then, okay, what do I do now?
Right. And then one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that website is wonderful. So many forums. They must have, I don't know how many hundreds of pages on score.org.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hundreds of pages. If you want a non-disclosure, whatever you need is on that website. And
there's also a number of web seminars that you can look to for different subjects. So sometimes you don't even have to go to a seminar. There's some things on the score.org website that you can pull off.
All right. And once again, folks, the mentoring program is free over there. And before you spend any money on a seminar, I suggest you go in there and talk someone to a mentor so that you know which seminars you need to see. Because how many different seminars does SCORE offer?
Oh, we offer the ones that we do ourselves. We've got 7 or 8 of them that the volunteers are actually putting on. But then we've partnered up with a number of other companies. Constant Contact does a number of seminars on different marketing things. We've got Paychecks that does some employee relation seminars, how to fire employees, what kind of documentation you need, how to hire employees. They're doing one this month on healthcare reform that's coming up October 23rd. We've got somebody that does social media. There's one I noticed last week on Pinterest, one of the social media tools. They do it on QuickBooks. So there's a variety of subjects, all the different things that you need to be in business.
And you can find out about each and every one of these by simply going to scoreorlando.org, where it's all listed. And now, if you want to find out about the more broad availability of templates and things like that, you can go to the national website, which is simply score.org. All right. Now, Jean, when you said you went to SCORE, and it was you said Brevard County?
Mm-hmm. I've been over to this one as well for the seminars and meeting ongoing. Just because you start with SCORE doesn't mean you can't continue with SCORE. even while you have a successful business.
Well, how long ago did you actually start going to SCORE?
Oh, 10 years ago.
So you had an ongoing relationship along the way, and they provide guidance to you and suggestions that help you make better decisions in your business?
Absolutely. In fact, over in Brevard County, the Small Business Development Center, I do a lot of their seminars, their free seminars. And after someone meets with Small Business Development Center or SCORE, sometimes they need the advice of someone that's got a real similar business. So I end up getting the referrals from that. And I'll speak with people on the phone or in person for 45 minutes or an hour to make sure that they're going down the right path as well, because it's a lot easier when you follow someone else that's been down the path before you.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it takes a great deal of the work out, and that's the whole idea behind SCORE to begin with.
That's right.
Copying somebody else is not a bad thing if you can just relate it to your own business.
Absolutely. And so you'll definitely have to take advantage of that, folks. And you can do that simply by going to scoreorlando.org or give them a call at 407-420-4844. Now, with Rich gone here, we're going to talk in the second segment of the show about homework, because we got a question about that. But unfortunately, Rich isn't here because he's the one who's always emphasizing.
He's always banging it, and we had a question on what kind of homework do I need to do?
Which is a good question, because we're oftentimes saying, you know, you got to do your homework. You got to do your homework. And as we said, Rich is really harps on that. But it didn't occur to us, I suppose, that it may not be clear what we exactly mean by that. So we'll touch on that a little bit in the second segment of the show. Later on in the show, we're going to find out a whole lot more about Jean Newell and her invention, which her prototype she got at the Home Depot. Is that correct?
Not quite, but I did get the idea there.
Okay, all right. And this came to her because of her profession in the real estate business.
That's correct.
And so you're going to have to find out a lot more about PUP, but maybe some of you folks may have a PUP out there because you may have seen it on the QVC network and bought one. And you may even have seen Jean on the QVC network. So,
and you're not wearing a dog. PUP stands for Personal Utility Pouch.
There you go. All right. And Jean invented it. And so you're going to want to find out a lot more about that. And all you have to do is stick around.
I guess I don't need to ask the question, then what do you feed a pup?
This one you feed gadgets. All right. And so it's a very interesting story, folks. And I think it'll be very helpful to others of you who are out there who have also come up with, I've got this great idea, this little thing that will make life easier for somebody. That's really what all inventions are about. Making life easier for somebody and or everybody. All right, so stick around and don't go away, because we've got a lot more of What's the Score coming up right after this short break. Okay, welcome back to What's the Score, folks. Thanks again for tuning in today. That's right, folks. This is the show designed to help you come up with the winning combination for your business or enterprise. My name is Christopher Hart. In studio today with me is Paul McNally of SCORE. Rich is not here today, but we'll try to make do without him. I don't know how we'll get through this, but we'll do it one way or another.
I see our ratings already going up.
And in the studio today, we also have Jean Newell. And her profession was the real estate industry, but her entrepreneur enterprise was as an inventor. So she's got a great story, and we're going to talk about that here throughout the show today. And we're going to bring her into the conversation now, because we got a question. What do we mean by do your homework? We talk about that so much. Do your homework, do your homework. It means a number of different things. It means, first of all, you need to know what you're going to need legally to do your business legally. And for different businesses, believe me, there are different legal requirements and permit and licensing requirements. And also you'll need to be able to set yourself up so that if you're going to have employees, that you'll be able to pay payroll taxes and things of that nature. And then also you're going to need to know something about the business that you're getting in. And a lot of people don't. And, Paul, you can testify to that because you're a business broker. People come to you to buy businesses. And
a lot of times they don't know what they're getting into. And one of the biggest things on homework is, are you going to be able to make money with what you're trying to do? And that's where most of this homework is important, to do that research to make sure that the idea that you have can be profitable. We talked about nonprofit businesses in the first half. When you plan it, nonprofit, but you don't want to go into business to make money and be a nonprofit.
That's definitely counterproductive. Now, Jean, you started a business. What did you do before you began? First thing that you did right, was you went to SCORE.
That's right. And I think this is the biggest mistake a lot of people make, and I know I made a ton of them. As I said off air here, I could probably write a book on all the mistakes not to make. But one of the things that people do is they jump out there and they start a business and they don't even know whether there's, especially if you're talking about a product, they don't even know if there's a call for that business. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you're going to have customers. And if you might have a great idea, but maybe there's not enough people out there that's going to be interested in buying your product or your service or your business. So that's where that coming in handy with going to SCORE or getting a mentor or finding people at the Chamber of Commerce, any place that you can sit and talk with other people and bounce some ideas off of them. And then if you do have an idea for a product, let's just say that as an example, because it's the same steps, whether it's a product or a service, you get some non-disclosures, of course, but you want to ask people, what do you think of this? What do you think of this idea? And if you have a way to make a prototype, that's even better. If you have a prototype for your product, have a focus group is what they call it. Find out from other people, are they interested in something like that? What would they pay for that if it was available? So you find out before you spend all the money getting your license and so forth that you do have a viable product. The other thing for homework, and I was excited to hear this, Chris, is a lot of people set up their business in the wrong way. For an example, I had a business partner in the beginning, and he was a veteran, and of course I'm a woman, so we thought, wow, we've got it made. No matter what the situation is, we've got it veteran-owned or woman-owned. But it was a 50-50 partnership, and guess what? Both of them counteracted the other. You have to be 51% something. So it's either 51% veteran-owned or 51% woman-owned to take advantage of all the different things that are out there, advantages for these different businesses. So those are some of the things that I advise. I do a lot of seminars over in Brevard County and over here as well, that I tell even the gentlemen, when you're setting up your business, you might want to look at putting it in your wife's name, 51%, because you might have some advantages there.
Absolutely. And there are a ton of advantages out there for quote-unquote minority-owned businesses, which include women-owned businesses, even though it's pretty much now we're more women-owned businesses than men. So
That's right.
It depends on the definition of minority, because I believe they also outnumber us in the population. So, but it's understandable that you need to know those ins and outs. But that's the great thing about SCORE is that it's sort of a one-stop shop that can guide you on all of those decisions. Not only is there a market out there for my product or service, because they're going to be able to match you up with a mentor in that industry, that sort of business, but then also they can guide you through the legal hurdles too.
And and when you find out if there's a market there, you've got to find out whether it's going to be profitable, because as Jean said, find out what somebody will pay for a service or pay for a product, but then you've got to see what's it going to cost me to manufacture the product. And in a lot of cases, it may cost you more than what people will pay. A prime example, I was meeting with somebody today. In fact, they're going to be a guest on our show in a couple of weeks, that they're launching a new energy drink. And, they want to take over the world with this new energy drink. And they've got a great product. I tried it today, and they've got their first product going to hit the market in 2 weeks.
That's why you were tap dancing when I came in.
Yeah, that's I got here at 1 o'clock waiting. One of the things that they found is what it's going to sell for in the store when they take the distribution cost and the markup that the store owner wants, and they back everything out of it, they're going to lose about 20 cents for every bottle that they sell on their initial run.
But they're going to make up for it in quantity.
But they'll make up for it in volume. And it was part of their marketing plan to do that, because they've got to start building the brand. And as they start manufacturing higher quantities, that price will come down, and they'll eventually make money on it. But this is just part of the process that they're going through, and they did their homework, and they know that, and they're hoping to break even, in their second run, and that would be a good step forward, and then they'll start making money. But that was all planned events through the homework that they did. But had they not looked at that, then they'd be charging a lot more for this product than they could get, and more than people would pay.
That's interesting. in order to make the big profit right out the gate, they may have put themselves out of business.
Exactly. So, and it's the old cupcake story that we've talked about. Everybody tells you, you make a great cupcake and go into business, but when you want $5 a cupcake, those friends are gone.
Yeah, those cupcakes aren't quite as good anymore. You said you could write a book on a lot of things not to do. What would be one of the first things you would tell people not to do as they're just starting out?
Oh, boy. The first thing would be don't run out there and buy a bunch of product. Don't put yourself out there because you're going to have a garage full of it if you're inventing something. But so many people...
Would that be a garage full of pups maybe?
We're talking about a garage full of pups right now. No, you want to sit down and not get so excited you lose track and you lose focus. I say a lot of people, when I do my seminars, I say some people are pregnant with product, which means they've fallen in love so much with this product and they can't wait to give birth to it that they're not thinking logically about business. And you have to remember that it's either a business going to make money or it's a hobby, which is going to cost you money.
Right, exactly.
And a lot of people have the same passion, but they forget that a business makes money.
But the two of you, in those two answers, those comments, what you have said is kind of counterintuitive to what a lot of people think. Because let's say I come up with an idea for a pup. It's something different, but we'll just call it a pup. And I said,
a widget.
Okay, a widget. That's the common term in college.
She's got that name copyrighted.
Right.
You can't use pup.
So I've come up with an idea for the widget. So I can't build a lot of them myself. So I go to somebody who can build the widgets. And he convinces me that if you buy X times 100 widgets, you'll get it at this price. But if you buy X times 1,000, you'll get it at the half price. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I know this is a great idea and it's going to sell, so I want to get it at the cheapest price possible. So I buy the garage full, thinking that I'm going to get a better deal, but now I'm out all this money because I've put my capital into the product of inventory, and I might have been better off to pay the higher price to begin with just to be sure that I could have a market out there to sell it and then begin to generate some revenue to put toward the bigger orders.
And a lot of it's like a test market. Mm-hmm. But I always tell people, watch Shark Tank. If you want to know what really business looks like from the inside out, watch that ABC show Shark Tank, because those people don't pull any punches. They tell those entrepreneurs and those inventors, what makes you think you've got a business? And they come in there with a great idea, but a business has to be saleable at some point in time. And if you sometimes you have a great idea, but it can't be patented, it can't be trademarked. So what makes your business any better than someone else's? So you always have to think in terms of what makes mine marketable later on when I want to do an exit plan.
And that's what doing your homework is all about. And if you do watch Shark Tank, you'll notice that the people who come in there and have done their homework and know where their market is and know what they're doing, they're the ones more apt to be getting a contract. And so every now and then, of course, you have the oddball who comes in, just got such a great idea, they bid on it. But I saw him throw a guy out the other day. He had a great idea. They wanted to do it, but he was just such a lousy business partner. The Cuban was the first to opt out, but he just said, look, you don't have any business sense at all. You've done no homework. You've got a great product, but you've done no homework here. I don't want to be in business with you. I'm out.
Right.
So it's very important that you do your homework.
And speaking of Shark Tank, we have right here in Orlando at Rollins College every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, 1 Million Cups, which is they slate themselves as Guppy Tank. It's just a small version, and they have two people that make presentations every Wednesday morning. It's free to go there. Anybody can go, get on their mailing list. You go to YouTube, you can see last week's show. They stream it live. It's a great thing for new people looking to get into and getting their presentation down and get those questions thrown at them, because that's what happens there, just like Shark Tank.
And how do they find out how to get involved in that?
They can just go onto YouTube's and put 1 Million Cups in there. They can Google that, and it'll give them a connection where they can just send an email and get on their mailing list.
That's 1 Million Cups, and that's at Rollins College right here in Winter Park every Wednesday morning. And it's a fascinating program that they have going on over there. Okay, when we come back, we're going to focus a little bit more on Jean Newell and her pup and how she came up with the idea of a pup and what she did with that idea of a pup. And it's a fascinating story, so I think you folks are going to really enjoy that. So I hope you'll stick around with us. Don't forget, if you'd like to find out more about SCORE Orlando and the seminars that they have going on there, which they have going on all the time, excuse me, simply go to scoreorlando.org. That's scoreorlando.org. Or give them a call at the Entrepreneur Center at 407-420-4844. And then once again, if you have questions for us, and that was a great question, what do we mean by homework? If you have questions similar to that or any others, simply send them to us at score@nationalec.org. If you have a suggestion for a topic, score@nationalec.org is where you send it. Okay, once again, folks, I want to thank you for being with us today. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jean Newell. And by the way, if you've noticed what a great radio voice that she has, it's only because she has her own radio show. And we'll give that a mention, too, when we come back. But please don't go away. You are listening to What's the Score? And we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to What's the Score? Thank you for being with us today, folks. I am Christopher Hart, along with Paul McNally. In the studio with us today is our guest, Jean Newell, inventor extraordinaire. So thank you for being with us. This is the show to help you come up with that winning combination for your business. ScoreOrlando.org is the website. 407-420-4844 is their number at SCORE. And
so, Chris, what is a pup?
Well, let's go to the person who invented the pup and get her to tell us. Jean Newell, you came up with the idea of a pup. Tell us how you came up with the idea and tell us what it is.
All right. A pup is a personal utility pouch. It's the first unisex designed wearable organizer. Almost forgot my own little tagline.
Elevator speech.
Yeah, elevator speech. I just went blank. Yes, it was invented to solve a problem, and that's what most inventions happen. Is you see something around your house, around your neighborhood, maybe your work, and you just need to find a way to improve it. So I was in real estate. I've been in real estate over 40 years, and I know that's impossible because I'm only 39 years old. But it's the new math, Paul.
Yeah, that's it.
And
still a lot younger than Rich.
There you go.
I found about 10 years ago, we were carrying multiple electronic devices. We had cell phones and PDAs, and we had pagers back then, and cameras. We didn't have these multitasking phones like we do today. And we needed all those multiple electronic devices to do our job in real estate, but there was no way to carry them conveniently in any way. So a lot of the gentlemen were carrying them, attaching them to their belts and putting them in their shirt pockets. And the women, we didn't have pockets. So we were trying to find purses to have pockets on the outside so we could carry all these things. And of course, with real estate, your cell phone is your connection to the world. You have to have your cell phone handy.
And back then, it was probably like the brick phone.
It wasn't quite that big, but yes. I said it was about a step up from 2 cans and a string. But anyway, I found that when I was doing my business, I was in the office. And of course, you're very mobile. You're in the office, you're in your car, you might be showing a house, you might be traveling. And invariably, I would leave my phone somewhere. And I was constantly having to borrow someone else's phone or the office phone to call my own cell phone to find it. I think that's happened to everyone at least once.
Yeah.
So I made a joke one time at a sales meeting, and I said, I am so tired of losing my own cell phone that I'm going to go down to Home Depot and I'm going to buy one of those, those cloth nail aprons that say Home Depot across the front.
Yeah, they cost about $1.50. Huh?
And they tie, you can wrap them around and tie. And
I'm sure Chris has one for
very convenient, by the way.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And they got the pockets in the front.
Exactly.
And I said, I don't care. I'm going to wear it with my business suits, and I don't care if it says Home Depot across the front. And they all laughed because there's a perfect picture for you, a business suit with Home Depot nail apron on. But after the sales meeting, a lot of the people that were much younger than I am, because I kept blaming it on my age, I said, my gosh, am I getting so forgetful already that I can't seem to find my cell phone? I misplaced my glasses. I don't, you're constantly moving around. They said, listen, I'm 28 years old and I can't find half the things I need. So we decided right then and there that there needed to be an accessory of some point, some type of an accessory to hold the things that we needed: multiple electronic devices, business cards, a pen, your glasses, etc. So we searched for 6 months trying to find something that already existed. I had no intentions of being a bag lady, Chris. I really just wanted to buy one somewhere. Well, as it turned out, there wasn't.
Necessity is the mother of invention, they say.
Exactly. There wasn't any such thing. So somehow or rather, I always tell people, I guess I picked this short straw at the office. Somehow or rather, I got picked to invent this thing. And, of course, I'd always had some great ideas in the past, but just like most people, you don't know what to do with that idea, so you don't take the first step to go out and try to see if there's a market for your great idea. And then later you're in some store and you go, hey, I thought of that idea 2 or 3 years ago, and here I see it in the stores.
And they're making all the money off of it.
Right.
So in this particular case, I went forward because I needed it. So that's how it came to be. And with their help, which is your step one, is your baby steps, the people right there in my office, we were creating it for real estate agents. What a great focus group. I had a bunch of real estate agents telling me what they wanted and how to do it. So I quick sketched something out on a Denny's napkin, having lunch with them. And someone there said, I know a bag company down in Hialeah. So let's call them. And we had a prototype made. And we brought the prototype back and we practiced with it. We wore it and see if we liked it. And then we went from there. And I got someone else and we partnered together and we decided to get a little order and see what happened.
And how did you decide how much to charge for it?
Well, there's a rule of thumb now. Of course, I didn't know that's rule of thumb back then. But the rule of thumb is you should charge 500% what it cost you to have it made. So if something cost you $4, you have to charge $20. And people go, I don't need that kind of a profit margin. I said, but you have to be prepared that if someone wants to buy it wholesale, they're going to want 50% off of it right off the top. They're going to want to pay you $10 for that item. So you can't make something for $17 and sell it for $20.
Right.
You have to have that margin in there.
Plus distribution, and there's other things that can come in there. Yeah,
that are in there. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. And of course, some products are more than that and some are less, but that's kind of the rule of thumb. So we were just, this is the bizarre thing. As I'm kind of coming up with this idea and I'm talking to the manufacturer down there and getting some prices and so forth, I'm starting to get calls from other real estate offices, and which they don't even know. In real estate, we don't have a chit-chat. We're not all that. It's not like we're all real friendly.
But the word was getting around.
We're all competition, but the word was getting around already. And people were calling me and saying, Jean, I understand you're making a bag for us. Would you put me down for a dozen? And I go, what? I don't even know if I'm going to do it and how much it's going to be. And then the phone would ring a couple days later and somebody would want 4 or 5 of it. And I had 85 orders, Chris, for a product that didn't even exist yet.
Simply because it was such a great idea.
And everybody was in the same boat.
And exactly. And you had a confined sort of market in the same boat, as you said. Mm-hmm. How did you get on QVC?
Well, that was kind of interesting. This product started in 2003, towards the end of the year. About October is when I finally had some made. I had my first order made. And then they came in December of 2003. Well, once my first order came, I was selling them at the Board of Realtors and a few things. I was a full-time real estate agent, so this was just a little lark thing. This was just selling a product to somebody else that needed it. And we were selling them for $19.95, and I was having them made for right around $455. So I was within that rule of thumb. So everyone that was buying them in December of 2003, they were saying, in November and December, they said, you should get this on HSN or QVC. And I go, yeah, okay, that's fine. Because I was busy. Those were the good years of real estate, if everybody remembers.
That's right, boom times.
So after a while, everybody said that, and I mean everyone. So all of a sudden, as I'm selling them to real estate agents, they would call me the next day, and they would say, could I have another couple of these pups? And I'd say, why? Great salesperson, right? I didn't say what color. I said, why? And they said, because I took my pup home and my daughter wanted it, or my husband, or my mother-in-law. And I go, why do they want a real estate bag? Well, my bag is very neutral looking. I mean, it has open pockets and pouches. And as it turned out, the kids they had all those Game Boys and all these other things. And the husbands thought it made a cool little tool belt. And salespeople that were on the road said, oh, I like this because I can keep all my electronic devices. Little did I know, I really had a market the worldwide market and a much wider span than just real estate agents. So to answer your question, I tried 5 times to get on HSN, and they kept refusing me. And every time they'd refuse me, I'd meet someone from HSN, and they'd go, oh, my gosh, this is perfect. And they'd try to submit it, and I'd get turned down again. Now, probably the smart person maybe would have given up then. I don't know. But as an entrepreneur, you just can't take no for an answer. If you think you have a winning product, and a lot of people in the know tell you have a winning product, you can't let one business or one person tell you no and then give up.
You just got to keep on moving forward.
Keep on forward. Yeah. Now, if everybody tells you no, then you might want to step back and look at it a little bit. But everybody has their own personal opinion on these things.
But you had positive proof.
I have all these positive people telling me, and people that were in business, and orders. So finally, I made a videotape of a lot of my friends wearing it, and on bicycles, and we had them like doctors and nurses wearing them, and we sent this video to QVC. And I had an agent for QVC at that time. And it got picked up within 2 weeks. So my first product was delivered to me in December of 2003. And 2 months later, on February of 2004, I was accepted on QVC, which is almost impossible. Luckily, I didn't know it was impossible, or I wouldn't have probably tried it. So in that particular case, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, that sometimes being naive is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. So in February, they accepted it, and by May, two months later, I was on QVC in person selling the pup. We had 3,000 sitting in their warehouse, and within 7 minutes, they sold 3,900.
Wow. So they sold out plus 900. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
But I had some in my garage, so
so you could cover the
I could cover the 900.
That's a fantastic story now. And you consulted with SCORE along the way, I assume?
That's right. And SCORE was one of the first places that I went to. And I have a great working relationship with them as well. And I even do presentations for SCORE over in Brevard County. I've done a couple of them over here as well. And just telling the story that's the first place to go. Don't let your brother-in-law or somebody else tell you need to go set up a corporation and an LLC and go to a patent attorney and all these other things. Whether you have a product or a service or a business, start with somebody that has a neutral interest in your business. You know what I'm saying? It's a positive interest, but they're objective. Right.
Absolutely.
So, Jean, let me ask you this question.
We're going to have to go to the break, so we'll pick up this conversation when we come back. And by the way, Jean has also written a great book, and it's getting ready to go to publication. It's called How to Turn Your Pink Slip into a Red Hot Business. And we'll be talking to her also about her Entrepreneur's Creed, which you just got a sample of right there. But first, I'd like to remind you that this show is being brought to you as a complement of Salem Communications and Public Service. But if you'd like to find out more about how you can get on radio, it's very easy. All you got to do is make a phone call. Call Bill Files at 618-1760. That's 407-618-1760. He'll tell you how you can get a show like this together, either by yourself or perhaps with some other folks in your business or your trade. And if you'd rather advertise, you can do that on the station as well. And there are 3 stations located here in the Salem Communications Complex, so we can direct your advertising to the market that you want to meet. All you have to do is call Bill Files at 407-618-1760. Okay, as I said, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Jean Newell. And don't forget, folks, you are listening to What's the Score? And please stick around because we'll be right back. Okay, it's time for more of What's the Score? Welcome back to the show, folks, and thank you once again for joining us today. I'm Christopher Hart, and along with Paul McNally, we're talking with Jean Newell today, entrepreneur and inventor extraordinaire. And she's just been telling us about her invention, the pup, the personal utility pouch, and which she came up with the idea basically out of necessity. She just needed something to put all her gadgets in that was convenient, that she could carry on her person so that she could get to her phone and all the other things, keys, glasses, you name it. And it's a fantastic idea. I mean, carpenters have been using this sort of thing, as you said. You thought of the idea of a carpenter's pouch because carpenters carry their tools on their belt, so to speak. And so you came up with a great idea. You marketed it. You found yourself on QVC. Did you make $1 million?
They did. They made about, I think it was over $2.5 million they sold in a couple years. And this product is not that complicated. It's not how complicated your idea is. It's the marketability of it and getting it in the stores and so forth. That's what I also help people with their businesses, is the publicity and the marketing. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the pet rock, and if you can sell a rock for $4.95 back in the 1970s, right. You can do just about anything with the product.
And exactly. Rich harps on the hula hoop.
The hula hoop,
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Paul, you were going to ask Jean a question.
Well, my question, I think she partially answered it there, but my question was going to be: so they sold 3,900 of these pups on QVC when they first took it on. Was that it? Or obviously they continued selling it if they sold in the millions of dollars? Well,
QVC, you're kind of judged on what you did the last time you were on. So the first time you're on, there's no pressure. You're only in front of about 10 million people, and your whole business is on the line.
And you're on live TV.
live television.
In a garage full of pups.
A garage full of pups.
And you were on live TV.
That's right. Yeah. I had to, and that was our hurricane season, if you all remember, 10 years ago, 2004. And I made, within that year and the following year, within 18 months, I made 35 trips from Orlando to Philadelphia Airport, because the QVC studios are near the Philadelphia Airport in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Why, HSN, you should be eating our heart out. Now, I could have been on HSN and made a 2-hour drive from Tampa. No, I had to get on QVC. But as it turned out, actually, QVC is a much bigger operation, and I had a lot of success there as well. But that was very interesting. And one real quick story, I was making those flights back and forth in between hurricanes. And one time I was coming back, and, I got to the point where you didn't even know where I was, because I was still selling real estate at the time. And this lady was sitting beside me looking out the window as we were landing in Orlando Airport. And she said, "Oh, look at that pretty community with all the pretty blue roofs." And I looked and I said, "Those are tarps, lady." Anyway.
Yeah, roofs that were blown away.
Exactly. I'm going to have to check my closet, because my mother-in-law, who lives with me, is probably the number one customer for QVC. So I'm sure she bought a couple of these at the time.
It's amazing. And every once in a while, I'll run into someone. In fact, it happened in my own neighborhood. I was walking my dog and somebody else was walking theirs, and they were wearing one of my pup bags. And so I said, "Oh, you've got a pup bag?" And this lady says, "Yes. As a matter of fact, that lady lives right here in Melbourne, and she's telling me all about myself."
That's cute. That is cute. Did you tell her that's who you were?
I thought, do I dare say anything? Because I don't want to embarrass her. And finally, I said, "Thank you very much." She didn't even know we were living in the same neighborhood, and she had bought it from QVC when I was on.
How do you like that?
So as it turned out, yes, once you're successful on QVC, they have you back, and sometimes you go on at 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at 7 o'clock at night. You just never know.
You never know.
But it's a great opportunity for those people that have a product that instantly become known in the end. It's a great brand. It's a great way to get your brand started. So you can now take that and parlay it. I've had my products in Dillard's and different places like that as well because of the QVC background.
Now, Jean, this looks like this bag was made for real estate, and you had a target market for that, but this could be used for a lot of different things, going through an airport, or there's many, many different purposes that people could use this for.
That's right. You just never, and again, I wasn't thinking outside the scope of real estate when I invented it, but since it is a kind of a generic looking bag, right now I have hospitals ordering them for their nurses because a lot of the scrubs don't have pockets. I have casinos up in Philadelphia. They order it for their valet, the car, parkers, or whatever they're called, valet parkers. So it's got a wide reach, and you just never know. And that's the other thing I tell people that have an idea. Don't start thinking outside the box. If you start hearing people talk about your product in a different realm, be willing to take another route with it. You just never know how something you've invented for one purpose might have a completely different purpose and completely different market out there.
It might be a bigger market.
Absolutely. Do you have a website?
Yes.
Are these still on the market?
Yes.
And can they get them at your website?
Yes.
And how did you, I want you to tell us the website, but how did you, what's the process of contacting QVC? And I don't watch QVC. Do they have like a little spot on there every now and then? If you've got a great product, just call us at this number. How did you know where to go to approach QVC?
Well, it has changed a little bit over the years, but there was just a couple ways to get on QVC. You don't call them because they'll just tell you to go to the website and submit your product, which is what HSN does too. It's really difficult to talk to anyone in person at any of these places because everybody and their brother wants to be on. It's like being on Oprah, you know.
Sure.
So there's so many people wanting to be on.
So they funnel you through their website.
They funnel you through the website first. Or if you happen to be at a trade show, sometimes they have their scouts looking for products at trade shows. The other way that I finally found out was to get an agent. And that takes a little bit of time, and I would be happy to explain that. I actually have a PDF file that I will send people on how to get on the shopping network.
Okay,
I'll be happy to send that to them.
It's a great time then to tell people how they can contact you.
All right. You can contact me at one of my websites, which is Jean, Jean, Newell, NEWELL.com. That's one of my main ones. And from there, you can go on to some of the other websites that I have a lot of free information for people that are thinking about starting a business, and even a little questionnaire on maybe how to come up with a business idea.
And you have an entrepreneur's creed.
Yes, I do.
And I'd like you to just make some brief comments, but let me just kind of go down the list of your creed. You have 4 points, basically. You have, number 1, believe anything is possible. Number 2, enjoy what you do. Number 3, do whatever it takes. And number 4, don't abandon your dreams.
That's right. Believe anything is possible. If you don't believe it's possible, you're absolutely right. You know, a lot of people don't do anything because they think it can't be done. I never thought I was able to get on QVC. I had to pick up a few rocks and look under them and try to figure out how to do it, but I was able to do it because I believed enough in myself. And if you've got some great family and other business associates helping you on, it's even going to make your struggles a lot easier, your path a lot easier. Enjoy what you do. You've got to find something that you have passion for, because there's ups and downs in a business. And if you're just in business to make money, of course, that's what our goal is. But if you're in a business that you absolutely hate or you don't know anything about it, it's going to be a big toll on you because you're going to be working every day. Where if you're doing something you enjoy, you don't feel like you're working.
And the cool thing about the pup was that it was incorporated in a product of your profession of the real estate industry.
Exactly.
And not only did it help you, but it helped all your colleagues, and that must have been a lot of fun. Do whatever it takes.
You do whatever it takes. There were many times I was still selling real estate full time. I had a warehouse with the pups, not my garage, but I had a warehouse full. And I might be over there sweeping out my warehouse, jumping in the car, taking a for sale sign and sticking it in somebody's yard, running over to the Orlando airport, jumping on a plane, going to QVC, taking the red eye back. And the next morning I'm doing a walkthrough with someone. So I did whatever it took to make it happen. You can't always hire a lot of people in the beginning. So I'm sweeping out a warehouse, and a couple hours later I'm on live television in front of 10 million people because I had to do what it took to do it. So that's what I always say.
Welcome to the world of business.
That's right.
I was going to say, that sounds real familiar.
You got to learn how to wear a lot of different hats.
And do it, and don't abandon your dreams.
Don't abandon your dreams. I make an analogy that when you're an entrepreneur, it's like the track and field. You're jumping hurdles. But unlike track and field, when it's during the daytime, when you're an entrepreneur, you're jumping those hurdles at night, and you don't know which one's coming up next. So that's the analogy I use. You don't know when the hurdle's going to come up. All you know is you see one, and you got to jump it. And unlike during the daytime, you could maybe see at the end of the track where the finish line was. Entrepreneurs don't know where the finish line is because it's different with everyone else. And a lot of people keep jumping those hurdles, and then they give up. And they turn the floodlights on, and they realize they only had one more hurdle to jump, and there was the finish line. So if you don't abandon your dreams, you have to think smart, and you have to realize that maybe your business needs to be reworked or done something different if you're spending a lot of money and it's not going anywhere. But just keep plugging away. If everything's going the way it seems like it should be going, and you're getting those positive feedback, and your mentors at SCORE and various other places are telling you, you're almost there. Just don't give up too early.
Okay, once again, you can find out more about what Jean is doing at JeanNewell.com. That's JeanNewell.com, JeanNewell.com. You can email her there as well, just Jean@JeanNewell.com. And by the way, she also gives presentations, and she has a radio show as well.
Right.
And it's in Brevard County. It's
on worldwide, as we talked about before, on Wednesdays from noon to 1. It's called Speak Out, Listen In. We talk about business, real estate, wellness, and employment. And it streams on our website at 1300WMEL.com.
All right. So you see, folks, even with everything else Jean has going on, she believes in the power of radio. And you should too. And as SCORE does, and as I do. And the best way to find out more about that is come on down to the studio and just poke around a little bit with Bill Files. He'll be glad to give you a tour. And 407-618-1760 is his phone number. You'll be talking to him personally. That's Bill Files at 407-618-1760. He's only the station manager here, folks, so he's the man to talk to. Jean, it's been fascinating talking to you today, and it's been very inspirational as well.
Thank you for inviting me, and I hope that there's some people out there listening with an idea. It can be done at any age.
And I hope you'll come back as well. And that's JeanNewell.com, JeanNewell.com. Who are we going to have next week, Paul?
Chris, next week we've got Paul Bishop, who has a internet startup business that he has just recently started up. So he's going to talk about some of the process that he went through. And then the following week, we've got two gentlemen that have the new energy drink that we talked about a little bit ago.
All right. Well, it just seems to keep getting better and better. I don't know how, but it sure does. And Jean, it's great. Thanks that you've been with us today, and we look forward, as I said, to having you back. And go with these pups, man. And folks, if you want to get a pup, if you want to see what they look like, go to JeanNewell.com. And it's a great idea, you know. And probably people out there thinking, I've already got one of those.
Probably so.
All right. Well, once again, folks, we want to thank you for listening to What's the Score. And don't forget, you can find out more about SCORE at scoreorlando.org or give them a call at the Entrepreneur Center at 407-420-4844. And we'd love to hear from you. Send those comments and questions to score@nationalec.org. Jean, Paul, thanks for being with us today. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll talk to you next week.